Hello and welcome to Muse and Metrics. This is your host, Philippa Burgess. Welcome to another episode, and I've got another wonderful guest.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sanaa Harmach, and currently I'm a Women Techmakers Ambassador, and I work as a growth product manager for a full-time position.
Oh, fantastic. So how long have you been in the Women Tech Makers program?
I joined the program around 4 years ago when I was part of GDG as well, the Google Developer Groups. And I got introduced to the program by one other amazing woman tech maker, and yeah, it's been great since then. I attended more events. I, I helped organize more events. I get more involved in the community. I get to know a lot of amazing people, and yeah, it's been great.
Let's talk about a little bit about where you're from, because you are also representing a part of this global stage.
Yes, I'm from Morocco. It's a country that is located in Africa, and I currently live in Casablanca, which is kind of the economical capital of Morocco. And yeah.
It's a beautiful part of the world, and so happy to have you here. And that's the thing about the Women Tech Makers program. It's an international program, so it's representing women around the world. I believe there's about 3,000 of us right now, and it's a Google initiative that is there to empower women.
Yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. And I think it's getting harder to get into every year now because it's
Mhm.
growing so much. And it's so important because women, I think, need a place and a safe space because we are a minority in tech. So that's another thing. Let's lead into what got you interested in the work that you do. How did you get started? How did you sort of find your way into tech?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2019, 2020, around that time. And I got a degree a bachelor's degree in mathematics and computer science. So at first, I wasn't really intending to study computer science. I just got into it by chance. I'd say, because I had to choose between pure mathematics and mathematics applied to computer science, and I hated the classic mathematics. So I always wanted to use mathematics in something else to see more its value. So yeah, I graduated in 2019 around that time, and I worked with a couple of companies on different projects in mainly the automotive industry. I was a software developer back then. I used to work for a company as a front-end developer. Then I learned some back-end technologies as well, and I became a full-stack developer later. And then I discovered product management. And at some point, I felt interested more in actually making people's lives better, in making it easier for them to do things, daily things, and navigate this world. So I got interested more into UX and how, like, combined with psychology, how us humans make decisions, how we see things, how we read, and it was really interesting. Um, I also started my own company with a partner of mine, and we usually offer branding services. So that's what got me also into product management. I was like, okay, I have this knowledge in technology, I have a knowledge in business, and starting a business and turning your business goals into product milestones. And I have also this knowledge of UX, so I'm kind of a generalist. So when I learned about all of these three, I was like, okay, now I need to discover what to do with this. So I was a bit super lost at that time because working as a full-time software developer didn't fulfill me. To be honest, I've always felt like it was lacking something, like it's not for me. Like I could do other things on the side. And because I was involved in so many communities, I get to meet a lot of people who advised me to go discover product management. So I didn't know about it before. And that's the power of communities after all. You just attend this random meetup and you meet some random person who gets to actually introduce you to some new topic or some technology, and then the next thing you know is that you're into product management and you're obsessed. So yeah, so I worked as a product manager for a company for around a year. Then I also, meanwhile, I've always learned something. So while working as a product manager, I also started learning how to translate growth strategies into an into actual features, into actual metrics in the product. So I became a growth product manager last year, and it's been around 1 year now. Yeah, it's been around 1 year now that I'm with this company, and I guess I've never been this fulfilled before. My full-time work is growth product manager, and my part-time work is a COO, more like I take care of operations in the branding agency. So
That's excellent. And I think in some ways there is value to that because you have the sense of security. You have the security of your job, but if that ever changes, you always have your other thing kind of to go to. And so there's a lot of
yeah,
flexibility with that.
yeah.
And
Definitely, because at some point I was like, okay, I do not want to rush myself. I know that I can give value as a product manager, but I'm still new to this branding thing. I'm still new to building brands and developing brand strategies and so on. I'm super new to that. Okay, I don't want to rush it, but at the same time, I don't want to. I Yeah, I live alone, so I have expenses. I have a lot of things to cover for myself, and I cannot rely full time on my branding agency to fulfill that because I'm still building it, and I don't want to rush it. I want it to be super organized. I want the processes to be developed in a good way, and I'm a perfectionist. So it's taken me some time, but to be honest, it's the best decision ever. You always need uh, to give yourself some room to challenge.
I love that. I've done a lot of entrepreneurial things in my life, and I'm sort of was at this crossroads of like because I'm a graduate student of do I want to go back to traditional work or do I want to do entrepreneurial things? And I was just feeling at this crossroads about it. I couldn't decide. And then actually it was through Women Tech Makers, there was a conversation that I had last year about cybersecurity, and I knew nothing about cybersecurity. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. And as I learned more, I realized that it intersected so well with what I was studying. And there was just an interest that sparked for me there and then I had extra room in my schedule because my own department had, we have 8 units and usually they're 4 unit classes. But in this case, there was this one class that was 2 units and they had nothing else that I could fill the other 2 units with. So I wandered over to the law school and said, hey, is there just a 2 unit course I could take here as a limited enrollment? And they said, yeah, we have a cybersecurity course you can take. I was like, fantastic. And I loved it so much that I ended up signing up for a full certificate program within the law school for privacy law and cybersecurity, which has now sort of solved the problem. So what I'm doing now is I'm interning with government agencies. So I've actually today, I'm starting my internship. We were supposed to start last month, but because there were so many fires in the United States, there was 1.89 million acres on fire. My lead mentors were all kind of deployed in the field because I'm going to be working for the U.S. Geological Survey, which is the science agency, as a geospatial analyst on wildland fire support. So my interests are geospatial, AI, ML, and cybersecurity. And that sort of leads to national security, disaster resilience, disaster recovery, things that are, sort of at that those intersections. So working in wildland fire support is a bit of sort of both national security and disaster management, disaster resilience. And so I get to intern there, and I've currently got applications out, which I'll be finding out this month for next summer. It sets me on that path for government work. And then I get one more year to do another internship. So by then, I think I'll have like a good government resume.
To be honest with you, at first I was a bit confused. Okay, I said at first, yeah, because I live in a country that more or less um, not asks you, but offers you only one opportunity per time. So there are some companies that what I mean is that at first I was super confused. Okay, I need to choose one thing only. I need to get that done well and then move on. I am surrounded with people who work only one job and then go home and chill. So I I am not always present in their plans, after work plans and so on, parties and so on. So I felt a bit lonely in the process. But at some point, I was super convinced because working on brands or building brands on the side helped me also understand more how to build better products. It helped me also understand the importance of having a strong brand, then building a product, or how important both of them are. And it gave me another perspective, and it gave me also I understood more entrepreneurs and CEOs and marketing managers and so on. And it gave me the other piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, if you're not out there, if you're not looking for the information, today we live in a world where information is everywhere. So you get to choose what to be exposed to. And I chose to be exposed to brands and products. And today it makes sense to me. Today I feel like I'm fulfilled. Yeah, I get tired sometimes. It's okay. There are some times where I have to work on weekends and so on. But when you work on something that is really fulfilling you, that is making you a better person, I guess that's okay. That product management is not you cannot learn product management in school or university. I'm not sure it's super common in the world, especially in my country. Lately, startups started getting more interested into hiring more product managers and understanding better what they do and so on, because at first yeah, maybe a couple of years ago, nobody cared what a product manager is or what they do. They mistake you for a scrum master, for a project manager. So your duty as well is to educate people around you. Hey, okay, this is my scope of work. This is your scope of work. This is not my scope of work, and so on. And uh, and yeah, so maybe each one of us has a different idea or a different definition for product management, depending on the company, depending on the technical side of things as well. And also today I get to meet so many product managers because I started this community called the Product Leaders. For product managers here in Morocco, as I told you, it's still starting. At least I'm not. I didn't know anyone before I started the product management. I didn't know anyone who was like the community wasn't super active. I'm talking about product managers. It wasn't super active, and coming from a technical background, coming from a background where I always reach out to the community, to the tech community in Morocco, to learn about something new or reach out to them for a certain thing. I've always been connected to communities, and I was like, okay, we do not have any community for product managers in Morocco. Why not start one? Because I've seen that in Europe, especially in Portugal, there are a lot of active communities for product managers. And I was like, why not have that in Morocco? Why not start it if it isn't out there? So I started this community with three other product managers that I met unexpectedly. So I lately I started meeting so many product managers, Moroccan ones. Uh, some of them are senior, some of them are junior. So there is a huge information flow, how you do this, how you do that, okay, which framework does it work. I even met a competitor of mine that I didn't know existed in Morocco, so I was like, okay, I need to be I need to have my eyes on you. I need to be careful of what I'm talking about because my product is still not launched yet. So yeah, I I noticed that so many of these product managers struggle with explaining or introducing to the job to their teammates or their managers. So yeah, since it is not a very common job here in Morocco, our job today is to actually educate more people on product management. And I feel like it's a mission of mine to do it because at a certain point, reaching out to my current users isn't a big of a hustle because we're developing B2B apps for now. And some of our users, or most of our users, are our current clients. So I get to reach out to them as the product manager of the product they are using. That's one. But when it comes to other users, like I was working as a product manager for a company that was developing an app for transportation. So it could be used by anyone. Yes, we had a target and so on, but it could be used by anyone. Each one of Yeah, it could be used by any one of us because we all struggle with the transportation here in Casablanca. And the way I used to reach out to people is by, as we said, focus groups. And while you define the incentives and so on, so when if you are offering them free trials like freemiums or something like that, if you are offering them goodies, or it depends on what kind of information you want to get from them. and and yeah, you just get to meet them in the middle. It's all about the user, it's all about people, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We want our life to be easy. And it's not just about digital products. Also, physical products have UX, which is something I learned lately. So each company has a different product manager who probably does a different thing because there are different needs for each company, and we're building different products. But at the end of the day, the job is very clear. You need to get to talk to users. You need to be super close with them, try to understand their pain points, try to also understand the business goals. And especially as a growth product manager, you need to also develop growth strategies. How are we growing this? And it feels like you're running a business inside the business. So so yeah, I'm pretty sure my entrepreneurial journey is helping a lot as well in this. All of or more like my experience from my humble experience, because I've been a product manager for now around 2 years and a half, 3 years. So I'm still a junior. I'm not an expert, but you are not a product designer, so you do not design the product or help improve the design of the product. You actually give feedback, you give insights. Yes, as a product manager, you need to have some common usability, how do we call it? Usability metrics and so on. You need to know these things. You need to know how people interact with the app. And when you learn about your users more, you get to know them. You become an advocate for their voices. So you're like a translator. Hey, you discuss with the product designer. Hey, I just checked my product analytics tool today, and I feel like people are dropping out in this certain at this certain stage. They are leaving the app. Maybe it's because of the onboarding. Maybe it's because of this certain feature. So you go on, you check with the actual users, you talk to them, you give them incentives and so on. You get as much data as possible, you analyze that data, and then it's and then you share it with the product designer. Okay, I guess we need to give up on this feature, or is there a better way to design this certain feature, or is there a... So you reach out to them. They are the expert when it comes to product design, so you don't get to tell them what to do, but translate the user needs for them, because they are not linked to the users. They are focused on designing certain features and sending that to developers. They're not actually advocates of the users. Uh, that's when it comes to product. That's when it comes to product design. There are other collaborations that you do inside the company with the marketing team. Yes, that's very needed, because who's gonna market your product? Who's gonna take it to the market? It's not you. There is a this job called there is a job title called the PMM, which is product marketing manager. They are it's like a marketing person who is responsible about marketing your product. They are experts in marketing products, not brands, not anything like products. And they have certain metrics to measure and so on. If you do not have that, I mean, established companies have that, established product teams have that, but most of other companies do not. So if there is no PMM in your team, you need to collaborate with the official marketing team, and you get to book them for some time, because they already have other things on the side to take care of. And you collaborate with them when it comes to pre-launch campaigns, launch campaigns, post-launch. What are the efforts we're gonna put? What do we need? If we need any materials, uh, we need to film any materials, any anything. So they take care of marketing your product. You would be collaborating also with developers, of course, software developers who are going to develop your product. So uh, you need to make sure that what's been designed is going to be developed, because there are some cases where the final product does not look like the wireframes. So yeah, that's mainly it. You collaborate with the business owner, or like the CEO, or like if you have any other managers in the room, anyone who is a stakeholder of the of the product, anyone who's going to make the decision about the product. And yeah, as I told you, you're an advocate of the user. You're just here to... I mean, I'm making it sound super easy and simple, but to be honest with you, just having to deal with many people, it's a bit challenging. And especially that in my current job, I'm the one taking care of building the product team because it's a company that does not have a product team in-house.
I loved also when you just said knowing your scope. Like, I do this and I don't do this, but also knowing that every company is different, like what the team is internally, who they're using for contractors for other things. So I do think that you have to be flexible. And like you said, every product manager probably has a slightly different role based on the needs of the company and everybody kind of understanding it. And I love that you have this the product leader and building community and being a voice and being an influencer in the space. And that not only helps others, but also helps you.
For the product leaders, it's a community, and we are mainly targeting product people or product leaders as a whole. Like you could be a product designer, you could be a product manager, you could be a product developer, anyone who is involved in the product building phase. That's what I call a product leader. And what we're focusing on now, because it's been I guess just around 1 year that we are active. We organize monthly meetups, but we mainly target product people, product leaders who are interested into learning from real life experiences. Um how to build a product or so on. So it depends on each meetup. For each meetup, we have a different topic. Last month, we organized a meetup, and it was more about how you do your market research as a product manager or as a product leader. I'm saying product leader because I've met some product designers who act as a product manager. As I told you, it's still a misconception here in Morocco, and that's what I want to define or cut probably. And our goal is educating product leaders on like to help them build better products for Morocco. And our target also is startup owners, business owners who want to learn what a product manager does, and so on. But we try to be very selective of people. There is a process to select who's going to attend and who's not going to attend, because sometimes we want the conversation to go in a certain way or to a certain point, and you don't want CEOs bringing their business problems into the table, especially if it's a very short, if we have just a very short amount of time, and we see that people are more interested into learning a certain thing, how to, let's say, how to plan for your product, or how to design a roadmap as a product manager, how to get to talk to your business, your manager, how to get to pitch certain features and not other features, how to learn to communicate. So yes, we have we have more like two targets. Anyone who, or more like three targets, because first it's the anyone who wants to learn about product management or how to be a product manager. Second, it's also other product leaders, so product designers and product developers. We want them to learn better how to collaborate with product managers. And if they don't have any in-house product manager, maybe they could learn to do it themselves. Maybe it's what they're going to convert to, or something like that. And also, as I said, business owners or startup owners, especially people with in the early stages of building products. And we do that for free. It's free meetups, and it's free for the community. It's just community work. It's voluntary, and yeah, we see the impact so far, and that's what keeps you going. I became a woman tech maker, one woman tech makers ambassador. It's been around 4 years. It's been exactly three. I've calculated. It's been exactly 3 years and 7 months, and even before that, I've always been amazed with the communities and building communities, and as you said, offering people a space where they could share, where they could learn from each other, where they could have a safe place where they could learn, as I said. And when I became a Women Techmakers ambassador, it gave me more opportunities to actually, and not just opportunities, but also, as you said, confidence, because you're like, okay, now I'm an ambassador, so I am somehow responsible. It's just voluntary and so on. It's not an actual job or anything, but it's like a mission you take on. Okay, today it's my job to actually introduce people to this and that, and maybe Google technologies or any other technology. You could. It could help you. It helps me. It helped me also broaden my network. So I've always got these compliments or comments of people saying that I'm good with networking. I have a diverse network and so on, and it's been thanks to all the initiatives that I have done before. And it's important to do things actually genuinely, and you do not wait for something in return. Not always. You do things, you try to impact the world, and yeah, leave your mark in the technology field. Even the society actually pushes you to choose, as I said, only one thing. You're supposed to do either this or that. And as a woman, you feel like the tech field is already saturated with the men, and it's a bit it's a sad thing, but we're here to change that and so on. So I feel like that one of my missions in life as well is to get to empower more women in tech. If I can do it, you can do it too. What's the point of because we all are shaped the same way. We have a brain as well. We get to think. We get to make decisions, and we get to also become managers in the future and so on. We take in responsibilities. We get to decide. Sometimes I feel like we even think or the empathy in us is actually helping us be better managers, be better leaders, and so on as women. And yeah, when I, as I told you, when I became a woman tech makers ambassador, I felt like I was in a safe space with women in tech, and I felt like every day I have got to meet a new person who achieved a certain thing, and you get to be proud of them, and at the same time, you're like, okay, if she did it, I can do it as well. I can make an impact, and so on. So it's pretty important for us to keep on advocating for women as well. To keep on empowering them and so on. We tend to be emotional with things, so most of the times we doubt ourselves because, as I said, tech is very saturated with men. But I guess today it's easier for women to get to tech because there is this whole inclusive mindset that is uh, that is happening. So yeah.
Well, and it's interesting with the inclusive mindset. I do feel like it's very important for women to have a space where we can come together as women and come together as a community. But I'm so often reminded in these conversations how many of the women that I talk to are the only woman on a team and are really a minority in a meeting. Like they're the only one. And and I think that that is important to recognize that the more women in a workplace that it becomes more comfortable for a woman because you can be amazing, but when you truly are the only woman on the team, the only woman in the room, it is a bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah, yeah. definitely. When you mentioned it, I figured I was the only woman in the team as well. So yeah, very common. Yeah, actually, it's funny because yes, it's true. As women get to a certain point of life where they are married and they get children, so especially in the early stages, so they want to stay with their babies at home and give them the care and love and everything. Um, but to be honest, I've noticed that the newest generations, even in Morocco, it's kind of changing things. It's becoming more of a balanced job for both men and women to either take their kids to school or to take their kids to to the doctor and so on. So I'm not sure in few years maybe it's gonna become more or less normalized. But for now, yes, we still have the kind of the mindset that women needs to take care of their children and uh, it's their job to decide if they want to leave the job or work full time and then go back home and take care of their kids, which is as well a full time job. So I'm not a mom, so I don't know, but I know because I'm an older sister and I've seen my mom struggle with that as well. But it's changing, even in Morocco. The mindset is changing because life became harder, also in Morocco, because nowadays, it's not mandatory, but it's preferably it's good for both parents to work. So because to like make sure to offer a better life for their kids and so on. Um, and and yeah, I guess maybe in few years it's gonna be fully normalized, but today it's still because the generation is still in their 20s, so we're still there. But yeah.
Yeah, and that women aren't scared to take on, being married and having children, and also knowing that they can still thrive in a career. And that's where, a lot of people are like the work from home. Some people don't because they're like, wait, there's too much chaos in the house. I want to get out of the house. But for others, they want that flexibility. They're like, hey, I can work, but I need to pop out to run an errand and then I'll be back. And like that, flexibility. And I think it's always existed, but obviously with the pandemic, it has definitely accelerated those opportunities for flexibility. And so I appreciate what you're doing when you say, hey, I've got my full-time job, and for me, that's school. And I've got my part-time job, and for me, that's also growing a business. So I think it's a lot of fun. And I love the work you're doing. I love how you kind of took your well, like you said, starting in college, you're like, okay, I can go math one way or I can go math the other way. And I liked how you sort of said, okay, I'll apply it to computer science. And then, did the computer science degree, became the front end developer, became the back end developer, which led you to being a full stack developer. I'm sure those skills still help you as you work with development teams because you kind of speak the language, you know how long something's going to take. I mean, that's totally not lost on me that those are really important skills to have and to be able to communicate. And of course, the products you're developing are digital products. So you speak the language of just, again, knowing all of the details of how those products are built. And then to, say, okay, it's not computer science alone that I'm passionate about. I like people, and I like making sure people are being helped and are getting the value of the work we're doing as technologists. And we're here to help people, and we're here to make sure that they have a good user experience and see and learn. And I just from the course that I did, understanding that the heart of it is empathy. And that empathy is really what drives you. And to really be able to say, I can put myself in someone else's shoes. I can see their experience. I can feel their pain. And I don't want them to have pain. I want them to have joy and to be part of that transformation.
Yeah.
And that and that deep listening.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Actually, I just wanted to mention one thing. I've always been called a people-driven person, and I've never got to use it in my job as a full stack developer. So when I became a product manager and I got to meet with actual users, get to discuss their challenges and what they struggle with on their the daily life, and also building communities on the side, getting to meet people and so on. I feel like I'm a being a people person or being a people-driven person got me to be able to put myself in other people's shoes, because I learned later on that it is a skill that not everyone has it. It's super special, and when you have it, it's great and so on. And I've always seen it as a weakness. The fact that I always try to feel a lot for other people. If there is just this friend that is having a certain problem and so on, I try my best to make it my problem, kinda. I try to help her solve it and so on. And I've always seen this as kind of a weakness, because I I used to kind of ignore myself in the process. But it's mainly because I've always used to neglect myself in the process and so on. But today I see it as a strength, because I got to use it in something. I got to see the benefits of being of having empathy, and I guess that's what's helping me build successful products. Yeah, and when you think about them, like, okay, users or customers, they are humans, and how do we get to understand users or get to understand humans? We talk to them. So the fact that I'm kind of talkative, I'm a kind of an extrovert, so I talk to people. I'm not afraid to meet new people. I do not have this anxiety of first contact. So I'm always like. Eager to get to know the person, what they do, what mission do they have in life, how are they doing things, and yeah, just being there for people.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we're, coming back to, what makes us successful, and you talked about is that feeling of fulfillment. I feel fulfilled. And I think part of the way we get to that fulfillment is being wholly authentic to ourselves and recognizing and honoring all of those parts of ourselves, even the parts that we might feel at some point are a weakness. Like I was feeling when I first came into tech, that my communications was sort of the thing I was trying to hide or the thing I was trying to push away. And I was really like, okay, I'm embracing tech and I want to go on this tech science path, and I want to learn, how to code and how to build things and, just take that to another level. And really sort of put away the people part of myself. And then it was almost surprising to me when in my role as a Women Techmaker Ambassador, when I said, oh, okay, I'm going to do a first an audio summit. And I was like, okay, I'll do this for International Women's Day, and I'll interview 8 Women Techmaker ambassadors. And that the fact that that was so joyful for me and so fun for everybody who was involved, and everybody was really proud of the final product. And I just had so much fun editing it and putting it together and promoting it. And it was just something I was super proud of. And then when it came to that summer, we had Google I/O extended, and I hadn't attended Google I/O that year, but I figured I could interview some people who went and take some clips from the main stage and, sort of make that into an audio summit. And again, I had just a wonderful experience, and I was really proud of the finished product. And it was from there that I suddenly was like, wait a second, I could do a whole season of this show that includes Women Techmaker ambassadors, and you all showed up. And like I said, this show would not be possible without that. But again, I had taken this communications part of myself and had kind of put it away. Like I didn't realize that it had the value that it did, and finding that joy, like again, back to that authenticity. And then when when I really look at kind of my notes and my thoughts, like one of my goals for a long time has been to build a YouTube channel, and that I really want to build it around come learn tech with me and all of the things I'm learning about maps and geospatial and data science and technology and like my different roles as an ambassador here with Women Techmakers, but also with Microsoft Student Learn and with Esri, which is our mapping software, and now with NICE as a cybersecurity career ambassador. So I have tons of content to draw from, and I have these great communities. And so that's when I finally, like I said, I didn't want to do it by myself because I'm actually more scared of success, because success means like a lot of like a lot of conversations and a lot of communication. And I was like, I just don't want to do that by myself. And so having now a colleague that I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's build this. Let's create communities and let's share tech and let's share opportunities and let's share knowledge. And so that's the business that I want to build. And it's kind of creating that part-time job. And I've spent so much money on my school that no job is ever going to make the math make sense. So I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense to sort of build my own little side income if I can do that, so that I can kind of go and enjoy just having a job, but also know that I have some income that can help me really sort of zero out my loans. So that's a little bit about, sort of my story of how I got to wanting to build a business, but also finding that, I think success truly comes from authenticity and including all the parts of ourselves.
Yeah, and I guess also the fact that you get to sit down and realize that certain things started to make sense, and you're getting there and you're feeling this success, or you're feeling for me, to be honest, success is to get to help people at the end of the day, help them learn. I don't care if I'm going to help them learn about product management. I'm going to help them figure out what they want to do with their lives, help them through building products for them, so on, help them by building brands for them. At the end of the day, to be very honest, I've been asked this question by a friend before. We were having this round of questions, and we were just networking and discussing last summer, yeah. And there was this question that popped up, as in, what do I want to do in the future? Do I want to keep on working as a full-time product manager, or do I just want to focus on my agency, or do I just want to focus on community work? What is the thing I want to do? I was like, I'm surprised you're asking me this question, because at the end of the day, I really do not care how I'm gonna do it. I do not care if it's through my full-time job or through my part-time job or through community work and so on. I just want to be out there. I want to be out there, and I want to be exposed to opportunities where I get to help people at the end of the day, through brands, through products, through community. I really don't care at the end of the day. I just want to help people, and because I've been helped before. I mean, thanks to people that I'm becoming a product manager, and I'm becoming a better product manager by the years. It's thanks to people that I get to decide that I want to apply mathematics to computer science back then. It's thanks to people that I got my first job. It's thanks to people. At the end of the day, it's all about people, and I'm making it my mission to help them. And yeah, I'm gonna figure it out as I go, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that what we see is that we change as we, get older, and, just our life circumstances change, and, but at the same time, we're all still the same person. You'll see your friends from years ago and they're still the same. Like, you still recognize them as their core essence. Yet our needs do change. And then society and life and culture and technology sort of also continue to evolve at a rapid pace, and we kind of need to keep up. So I always think that that's one of the joys of this kind of ever evolving nature of things. Like, nothing is static, things are kind of evolving. I think the goal is to always be authentic to who we are, and then of course who we are in that moment and in that circumstance. So that's, I think, what kind of makes it fun. And as we grow and learn, we hit new plateaus, and then we kind of want new challenges. So I actually love what you're doing and having that sort of trifecta of the job, of the part-time job, of the community, because each one gives you a new challenge, and yet you build new skills, you build new expand your network, and you build new confidence. And I think a lot of also what we see is not just the skills, but the confidence that women sort of need, because I think a lot of women by our nature are kind of brought up to sort of serve others, and that's good. Like, we want to help others. I think that's also part of just the nature of women, um, but making sure we don't lose ourselves in that process, and making sure we don't undersell ourselves in that process, because I think we're very good at speaking well about other people, but not always knowing how to effectively brag about ourselves, and not in a way that is overselling, but just appropriately selling. Sometimes we undersell ourselves.
Uh, Actually, I've been dealing with the negative self-talk uh, uh, for around a couple of years now, but it has become one of my New Year's, every New Year resolution. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write down three things I want to focus on this year. And it has always been brought up. It's the negative self-talk. It's, as you said, underselling yourself, because at some point you feel like if you're going to talk about yourself or your own achievements, or gonna introduce yourself to someone, you don't want to brag too much about yourself. You don't want to come off as disrespectful or something like that. So you try to be less descriptive, less uh, yeah. I mean, sometimes I get these compliments from other people. Hey, I'm amazed by how you can fit all of this in one day, and how do you manage your time, and so on. And then I get this feeling that uh, I've never thought about that. I've never seen this as a strength, or maybe I undervalue it. And that's where journaling helps me get these negative thoughts out of my head. And I'm like, okay, no one's perfect, nothing is perfect. You have this mission to help people and so on, and people are either going to take it in a good or a bad way. What's important is that you know what you want, and you're confident enough that it's going to work, and you believe in yourself, you believe that you have the skills, and you believe that you can make it happen. Especially as a perfectionist, I struggle with that a lot. So I'm never satisfied with the things I do until I hear these feedbacks from my manager saying, hey, we are blessed to have you here. That was literally a comment that one of my managers said last week. He said, okay, we're super blessed that you're here in the company and that you joined us, and your impact is super huge on other employees, and you've been educating people on many things. It's not your job, but still you're educating people. You're trying to spread positivity and so on. So I I feel like uh, whenever I get this kind of feedbacks or this kind of compliments, that's where I start to value myself more, because uh, I wasn't used to journaling or writing my thoughts down, and I usually just keep them in my head, and they start to 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 sometimes affect my mood in a negative way. But lately, I've started to feel much better. I feel like I'm more confident, especially when I achieve a certain success, or I get feedback, because it's actually tricky when you build products for other people and the end users keep on thanking you for saving their lives. Literally, you're like, okay, I'm at the end of the day, it's working. What I'm doing is working. What I'm trying to do is working, and it's genuinely getting perceived as a good thing. So why not me be becoming more confident about myself? Why not become more confident? Why not believe in myself? Why not talk positively with myself? So yeah, I struggle with that a lot, but I try my best uh, to be aware of things. I do not try to let the negative thoughts stay for a longer time. I try to become more aware of it, and that it's gonna lead me nowhere. So so yeah, it's very important. Yeah, definitely. And I guess when you get older, you learn new skills, or you develop. You become an expert at what you do, and that's how you gain even more confidence. And but when you're super junior and you just got out of you just got done with your bachelor degree or master's degree, or you just got your degree and you're having your first job or first internship, first professional experience, you feel that imposter syndrome. I've been there multiple times, especially in my early days. But to be honest, currently I do not have that. Fortunately, I do not have that, because I feel like today I developed enough skills to be able to deliver value. And especially when you constantly hear good feedback, and you get good feedback on things you're doing on a daily basis, and people are seeing the impact you're making and so on, I guess that boosts your confidence as well. I'm 26. I'm still figuring it out, to be honest. We have this society challenge or perception that you're okay, you're 26, you're unmarried, you do not have kids, you live alone, you live far from your family. It's a bit challenging, because you have to deal with all of these thoughts, and sometimes they get into your head. But most times they're like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and I know that I do not want to pressure myself. I'm gonna do what I'm good at. I'm gonna learn new things, and then meanwhile, if other things happen, they're gonna happen. I do not have I do not have control over that.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not us talking negatively about against ourselves. It's us interpreting society and then having those conversations as society with ourselves, and power in our own path, having to sort of deconstruct that and then sort of go back to kind of claiming our own. And again, I think it comes back to what you were saying, and it just about that authenticity, about always just following what's authentic for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we're individuals, and each one of us has a path, a different path, and we get to choose what we want to do with our lives.
So what closing words do you have? What advice do you have for people?
To pursue their dreams, to never stop searching, never stop learning new things, because you never know what you could learn next. You never know what you with what new skills could get you. And especially in this very digital world today, information, as you said, it's all out there, and you just need to also get out there, look for information, filter it, choose what to believe in, what not to believe in, because at the end of the day, it's too much information. Meet new people, get to know new people, different fields, different backgrounds, that will get you to understand people better, and that could eventually help you help yourself. So never stop learning.